Hello, everyone. I'm Peter Towers, Managing Director of ESS BIZTOOLS. Welcome to this webinar today. Take the lead from Uncle Sam. I'm joined by Brad Smart, the author of Selling the Message. How are you today, Brad?
I'm well, thanks, Peter. And you?
Very good, thank you.
That's good.
Brad, we're going to do an overview today of issues confronting accountancy firms as they go through a whole lot of changes that are occurring. And I welcome you to this presentation today because you're going to give us some insight as to what you think accountants should be doing to communicate the services that they're offering to small businesses and medium-sized businesses.
Well, that's true, Peter. It basically rolls from your article on the weekend about the evolution that's been occurring in the accounting industry. It really is a time of change. I mean, inflation we've got, the cost of living, etc. It's all impacting not only on individuals, but of course on small and medium-sized businesses. And keeping clients is one of the major things that accountants need to look at. I know many accountants like to get their fees from their clients. That's a given. And but they don't really want to have to spend the money to keep the clients. Now, just before coming on, I was thinking, you know, I subscribe to a number of streaming services. I guess you probably do too. We got Netflix and we got Stan. And at one stage, there was a series called 1883 that came along and it was on Paramount. So I've subscribed to Paramount. And after I'd watched the series, I thought, I'll get rid of this and save a few bucks. It's not going to cost me money. But Paramount was smart enough to keep emailing out and teased me with another series that was coming along. So I said, oh, okay, I'll hang in there. And then when that finished, oh, here's another series. So they were feeding me information all the time as a hook to keep me engaged with their series, with their service. I didn't really need their service because I had 4 or 5 other ones, but because they kept me hooked with the various upcoming events that they had, I was captured and kept going with them, and I'm still going with them. Now, that's the same thing with accountants. You might think that, oh, look, I've had this little company for the last 10 years, they're never going to leave me. But if you, all it will take in these uncertain times is for a competitor to come along and say, oh, look, I can offer these business advisory services to you. Well, I don't know whether my accountant offers that. I'll give it a go with you. And the next thing, the original accountant is down 1 client. Now, that only needs to be replicated a number of times, and suddenly your practice isn't that viable. So what it means is you need to keep in touch with your clients so that they know the services that you're offering, they know that you care about them, because let's face it, if you're only doing compliance work for your clients, they're really only hearing from you once or twice a year. At the time is when they want the information from you and when they're ready to sign. So it needs to go further than that if you're going to be a successful business over the next couple of years. Now, we remember the tax commissioner's recent statement that if you're only relying on compliance work, you're probably not going to be viable in 3 to 5 years' time. Now, that's a pretty frightening prospect for a lot of firms, because I'm sure a lot of them are reliant almost exclusively on doing compliance work. But if they keep in touch with their clients and tell them the expertise that they've got within their business, it might be that Mary is a specialist in I don't know, fringe benefits tax, for example.
Yeah.
Oh, I can get my fringe benefits tax checked out there. Or Sam is an expert in capital gains. You're keeping your clients engaged. Now, that can be serviced by a number of ways. You can do it by writing individually to each of your clients and saying, hey, I've got a guy called Sam here who's a real expert in capital gains tax. But that's a laborious process. It's better to try and get all the accountancy base, all the client base for your accountancy practice handled in one fell swoop if you can. And the cheapest way to do that is to go out and use an e-newsletter. Now, I know a lot of accountancy practice go, oh, that's going to cost me money. Oh, I don't know whether, it should be seen as an investment, but there are ways of doing this that virtually don't cost you anything. If you don't want to go to an outside consultant like myself to produce an e-newsletter for you, if you've got Word on your computer and you've got a list of email accounts of your clients, you can produce your own newsletter internally very easily. Write little stories of 350 words, send them out once a month. You keep in touch with your clients. If you get bored of doing that, you can always give me a call, of course, and I'll help you out.
Yeah.
But I really think that in these uncertain times, accountants need to think about where their business is going, and that they have to appreciate that you got to pay to retain your client base. Just like Paramount, it doesn't come free of charge.
Okay, Brad, thanks very much for that. And hopefully our listeners are going to look very seriously at that. But I'm just going to move on now and just go through some of the story, and then we'll come back with you to put your finishing touches on what they might incorporate into an e-newsletter about what we're going to discuss today. If we can do that, Brad, thanks.
Sure.
Okay, so we'll just go back to the slides and I'll move from there. USA changes have been occurring that will affect Australian accountants as well, I think. A lot of it's built around software, and after all, the software companies are operating in Australia as well as America. And talent retention has become a key issue. And Brad, you might like to talk about that a little later when we look at the e-newsletter and how that can also be used to assist firms to attract talent. The USA accountants who have started to go down this pathway of introducing virtual chief financial officer services, and they started doing that because they found that their working time, the hours they required to complete tax returns, was reducing, but they still wanted to retain those key people, their talent. And they were worried that as those people saw their hours reducing where they were earning fees for their firm, they'd get a bit worried and start looking around for other occupations. And what they got onto, these accounting firms, is that they found that they had receptive SME clients who really wanted additional services, but thought their accountants were always too busy. Sound familiar? I think the same thing is going to occur in Australia. In fact, some people will tell you it's already happening. So the USA firms that we've looked at created this concept of financial forecasting. And I've made some adaptations to suit what I think are the Australian requirements, plus based on my own experiences, having been in practice, but also having been a chief financial officer in a listed public company. The first thing that accountants need to understand is you need a more in-depth knowledge of the client's business than what you probably have from just preparing the annual accounts and tax returns. In fact, Adam Hale, the USA accountant, who is the pioneer of virtual CFO services in in America, has indicated that your knowledge of the client needs to be an inch wide but a mile deep. Think about it, inch wide and a mile deep. That's the knowledge you need of how the client operates their business. Understand the business vision. It's important that you meet with the leadership team of the client and come to grips with what the vision is. And that then leads into the business plan, which is a vital document. And I think you should have a business plan that's really looking at the next 5 years and is updated every year. And then we move into the budgets and cash flows, what some people call the predictive accounting process. The key drivers, budgets for each business unit, cash flow forecasts, projected balance sheets. Now, they're the key group of work, but then the real service that the American accountants were offering to their clients was that this should be offered on a 52-week-of-the-year basis. Now, for some clients, it mightn't be quite as intensive as that. It might be, well, we're going to work with you every month, but we're not going to be there every week. And remember, this is all being delivered on a virtual basis. So weekly performance analysis, I think is important. The big end of town prepare weekly reports on business operations. And I think SMEs would be well advised to follow suit, and you can introduce this to them. Meetings are very important. In my experience as a virtual CFO, I think I spent half my working days in meetings, whether they were with the CEO, the marketing manager, the sales manager, bank managers, of course, and other people. It was just meetings all the time. What do your clients do? No one will convince me that meetings are only limited to the public company arena. It also happens in small business, but who does your client running a small business? Doesn't really matter what the turnover is. Who do they turn to for matters to do with commerciality, business issues, not just tax, but all the other things? They should be turning to you, but have accountants told them that you're ready to talk to them about those issues? Have you developed enough knowledge about the client's affairs? Monthly financial accounts and comparison to budget naturally flow once you have the budget, the cash flow forecast, and the projected balance sheets. And the all-important meeting, I think, is a monthly business review meeting that you have prepared a report on what's been happening in the client's business so that the leadership team can analyze. And it will be obviously looking at bottom line profitability, but gross profit percentage, average sale, variation to the previous month. This is all very important data that your client needs. And they like to get substantiation of that data from an accounting person. And you can give them that as part of the service. Now, in the USA, some other services that were supplied are quite interesting. The firm that we've been dealing with offers back office and administration, and 32% of their clients accepted that. And also they will attend to taxation work, but they only do it for 90% of their clients. So 10% had obviously come from other firms. They remained with them for their taxation, but they elected to have Adam Hale's firm, who is the American CPA, undertake their key work, which is the budgets, cash flows, forecasts, and projected balance sheets. And that is the work that the Adam Hale's firm has identified as being compulsory work. If you don't want them to do the budgets, the cash flow forecasts, and the projected balance sheets, they will very nicely decline to accept that client's invitation to act for them, because they just will not accept appointments to undertake taxation work, because taxation work's what they're trying to move around. So financial forecasting is the bedrock from which all services flow from. And that's a very important issue. And it's the way bigger companies operate. And it's the way smaller businesses could. It's taken us to get to this situation. Brad referred to before of our article in Accountant's Minute last week, the evolution of accounting. I've been around this industry for 40 years and it has evolved and it's starting to move very fast because for years, all accountants really did was prepare the tax returns and the annual accounts. Now let's look at the endorsement of what Adam Hale was saying. Andrew Geddes, who's one of the founders of the Financial Management Research Centre, which was originally established at the University of New England in Armidale, and for 10 years was chair of a top 200 ASX company, Green Cross, watched the webinar that we organised with Adam Hale about 2 months ago. And there are his words. It's a new business model. I think it's going to revolutionise the sector globally. The question I think that Australian accountants need to answer, Brad, is do you want to be part of this revolution? Do you want to be part of this new service offering? I think it's very important that you do. Yes, Brad.
I think you're right there, Peter. I've got to say that I really love this concept. As you know, I used to own most of the AM commercial radio stations in inland Queensland, which we operated for nearly 20 years. And we were required by the Commonwealth Bank, who was our lender at the time, to have a CFO on staff. And we were paying out, this is 10 years odd ago, over $150,000 a year. Now, we were turning over about $4 million a year, and it didn't warrant having a full-time CFO there. So the virtual CFO concept would have been brilliant for us in those days, because it would have been the equivalent of having a CFO for maybe 1 day a week, 1.5 days a week, which is exactly what we needed, because half the time these guys were sitting there, or the CFOs that we had, consecutively, were sitting there twiddling their thumbs or playing in areas that were well below their pay grade. It was this virtual CFO is such a great concept because it helps businesses stay efficient. And as we say, look for Uncle Sam. The e-newsletters that we've been talking about, that all started in the US. 83% of American businesses now run e-newsletters. But the virtual CFO concept also started there, as you've pointed out. And it's I would love to have adopted it in my business in the time.
Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have the communications technology or the really the software working that well 10 years ago, but some people were probably trialing it at that stage.
Well, possibly, yeah. It's we were, of course, in remote areas.
Yeah.
Our head office was in Kingaroy, and we wouldn't have had the facilities to do it. However, if the internet could have been made to happen, and we could have had our accountants from Brisbane providing that service, that would have been an excellent addition to our business.
Yeah. Okay, that's very good, and thanks for that, Brad. We'll just keep on going, and let's just turn to some comments that the tax commissioner has made, because these are very appropriate, especially for smaller accountancy firms and sole traders. Diversity to remain viable for the longer term. This was a comment made by the tax commissioner recently at a congress, where he recommended that accountants should be thinking of diversifying to remain viable for the longer term. He also said, you must understand that if your business model is high volume, low margin, simple tax returns, your business will not be viable in 3 to 5 years. He then suggested focus on becoming a brilliant and trusted advisor. Now, Mr. Jordan is an ex-partner of a Big Four firm, KPMG. I think he knows the accounting industry. He definitely knows the tax industry. And I know there's been some comments as to whether all these things will come to pass. Well, my experience as being a practitioner and a accountant for 40 years is that sooner or later, it might take a bit longer than what the tax office says at times, but things happen. So the changes are happening. And I think it's time that progressive firms, no matter how small you are at present, really start looking at these issues and saying, I want to do something about it. So now is the time for action. Continue improvements in the software, the communications, and this ongoing subtle but not so subtle pressure from your team members, your talent, for improved work-life balance. It's happening in all professions, not just ours. I read some articles in the weekend press attributed to a practitioner in a medical practice. He was the senior doctor complaining about young doctors. So it's happening everywhere. So it's time for action to attract and retain talent. I think you need varied and interesting work. And Andrew Geddes, who made those comments just a little while ago, also indicated that you need to make sure you're mentoring younger accountants, taking them out to meet the CEO of the clients, letting them understand how all this process works, not just throwing them in a corner and asking them at the end of the week how they got on. That might have happened in the past, but it's not suitable for the current generation. So what other services could you deliver? We're going to look at micro and small SMEs tomorrow in some detail in a webinar we're presenting at the same time. But some of the other services you could look at is grant identification. There's hundreds of grants in Australia, millions of dollars handed out. Some accountancy firms secure a lot of grant work for their clients, and that creates that activity with clients that Brad was talking about before. Clients get to know that their accountants can find grants. We have a full program that assists in identifying grants that suit individual businesses. Research and development is an enormous grant that you can have clients at all different levels interested. You can have brand new startups, virtually have not made a sale, but they might be developing some fantastic new product. So there's a whole range of questions and assistance that you can give those people. There's capital raising. One of the big events in the last 40 years is we now have the ability for SMEs to be able to raise capital. The key section that's been there for some time is Section 708 of the Corporations Act. It might surprise some of our viewers. That's only been there for 35 years. So we're talking about 40 years. 40 years ago, there wasn't a Section 708. I can assure you it was very difficult for private companies to raise capital in that era. Then along comes Section 708. It got changed a couple of times, but it's been there in an as-is situation probably now for 30 years. But now we've got crowdsourced funding, equity raising, and early stage innovation companies. Are you familiar with these capital raising processes? Clients need assistance to raise capital, to get organized. And if you can't do it, they will go to someone else. Corporate governance mentoring, very important. As these clients start taking on bigger roles and attracting investors, they find that they have different people who are going to be on their boards of directors. It might be the investors' insistence, especially if they're dealing with sophisticated investors. Succession planning, I think, is an issue for every person in the business, but obviously it's very important for the CEO or the key shareholder. So that also brings in exit strategy. So let's look at how you might communicate all these services to your clients. I'm reintroducing Brad again now. As I said before, Brad's the author of Selling the Message. It's a great book that talks about communication. So Brad's going to talk to you about how you should be communicating what we've already talked about and how you could use e-newsletters to do so. So I'm now switching back over to you. Thanks, Brad.
Oh, thanks, Peter. Yeah, that whole concept, I think, is an excellent way for accountants to start thinking about where they should be moving in the future. But they also, where you start looking at things like grants and capital raising, you've got to be able to tell your clients that you're actually in that business. I mean, there's no point in keeping it secret. If they don't know about it, they will look for somebody who can provide those services that you want. Now, what the Americans did was to start up these e-newsletters. They originally started, obviously, as printed newsletters that we all saw in the 70s and 80s. And as technology moved along, it became an e-newsletter. Now, e-newsletters are great for even the smallest of accountants because there's the charges, the costs. There's no printing costs. There's no mailing costs. So it keeps it right down. You've got all that in-house. If you want to do your own newsletter, you can just use Word, write up your articles, which after a while I'm sure will become a bit of a pain to you because it's just a move away from where you want to actually be in providing business advisory services. But initially, start off writing a newsletter to your clients. Use your iPhone, take some snaps of people in the office. Now, Peter, you were talking about the members of the team. They have to be satisfied with the work that they're doing. Nothing helps more with satisfaction than promoting your team members and putting them out to your clients and saying, hey, here's Bob. He's a specialist in capital gains tax, and Mary over here does fringe benefits, as we were talking about before. That sort of little ego boost is also helpful in retaining talent. When you think about the way you handle people in the workplace, it's really critical to retaining staff. But if you can't provide them with the sort of work that they need, the innovative work, which is in your area, Peter, then you're going to lose them anyway. But the best thing to do is to promote what they do, make them feel like they're part of the team. And that's when e-newsletters come in. The other thing about e-newsletters is you don't flog with e-newsletters. You don't try and sell them package services like capital gains tax. We'll do it here. Just call now. That's call to action and is not done with e-newsletters. E-newsletters are like the ads you see for insurance companies. We're here when the times are tough, and you think QBE Insurance or Suncorp Insurance. That's the idea, is to keep it top of mind. That's what these e-newsletters are doing. They're putting it in front of your clients on a regular basis, because regularity is a major part of marketing. Keeping that information in front of your client regularly keeps you top of mind. So when they do need those services, say your competitor comes along and says, oh, look, I can help you raise money under capital raising. I wonder if my accountant can do that. If they haven't heard from you, they're likely to go first off to the guy who offered the service. But if you've been talking to them regularly, they say, I think my client can handle it. I'll give them a call. My accountant can do that. I'll give them a call. It's an ongoing form of reinforcement of your credibility. And that's really what you're looking at. Now, if you want to take it to a more professional level with e-newsletters, because they have a 15 times more effectiveness than things like Facebook marketing or even email marketing. Email marketing comes in at around 4% effectiveness, whereas they say the e-newsletter, the soft sell approach of that, is over 30%. So you take it down that direction where you keep that message in front of people with e-newsletters, and you'll start to get it. Now, if you want to go more professional, that's good too. You probably need to start to employ either a freelance journalist or copywriter. I mean, I'm happy to talk to people if they want me to do that for them, and we'll turn out a professional e-newsletter for them that they can send out each month.
Yes, and I know, Brad, you do a very, very good job on that type of work, and I'm sure that a lot of accountants could get a lot of benefit in communicating with their clients by using the services that you're able to provide.
Well, I'm only too happy to talk to anybody, and even if it's just a case of giving them advice as to the best way for them to move forward on it.
Okay, well, thanks very much, Brad. So what we've been trying to do here, of course, is show people just there is an answer to all this. That right, Brad? You know, we're highlighting the issues, the problems, the challenges, and part of that having that final package then is being able to communicate to your clients that you have got the answers or solutions for their business problems.
I see the major problem is doing nothing, is standing still and expecting the work just to continue to flow into your business. You've got to keep that hopper filled, and you've got to be prepared to put some money aside to keep that hopper filled. It costs money to promote. It costs money to whether it's advertising, whether it's just getting somebody in to write e-newsletters to people, whether it's there to write sales emails to people. It all costs a little bit of money. Now, you've got to set a budget aside to keep your clients and keep that hopper full, so that when those odd clients fall out the bottom because some of your competitors have put to them a more attractive deal, you've got others coming in the top to help build your business.
That's right, Brad. And one of the other big issues is clients get acquired, don't they? And I was very interested to read some of Adam Hales, who's the US accountant we're referring to all the time. He's got a retention of about 90%, but he claims that of that 10% that seemed to have disappeared, 9% of it was because of business takeovers. And he takes some credit for that. They'd helped the client build up a bigger and better business. And because they had such strong accounting data and information, they were able to, when they wanted to do an exit strategy and sell their business.
Well, that's true, but that's keeping the whole image of the business up so that you get the maximum price for your business.
That's right. That's right.
And keeping an ongoing flow of clients that can keep the business energized.
Okay, right. I'll just go back here, and we'll just come back to you in a moment, Brad.
Oh, sure.
I'll just click back onto there. Okay, so this is a special Black Friday offer we have at present. There is no free lunch for people watching videos like this. We are offering a special discount because it is Black Friday and we're doing everything American at present, 20% discount. But we're also giving that for a 15-month access. So the discount's a bit bigger than the 20%. And if you're a starter package subscriber, and that's the package for the group of accountants supplying services that I think the tax commissioner was talking to. So if you're handling micro businesses and small businesses and wage earner tax returns, you've read the signs, you need to start making some changes, we're happy to talk to you and help you. We just don't take your money and leave you on your own. We put you then into a training program. We want you to then be able to service and grow your clients, because then you'll want to access some more of our products so that you can offer a whole range of activities to help clients grow. So to get you started, your fee, if you subscribe between now and the 6th of December, is $1,680. That includes GST, and you'll have 15 months access. Plus, we have some holiday accommodation vouchers. They're not unlimited, but we will allocate 2 of those for each starter package subscriber, and that allows you to have a 3-night accommodation at a resort in Australia or Asia, your choice. The next package we have is the advanced package, which is all of the material produced by ESS BizTools. So it includes the starter package, but then it includes the capital raising material we've got on crowdsource funding, equity raising, early stage innovation company, Section 708 capital raising. There's a 20% discount there. You get 15 months access, so your net payment, including GST, is a cash upfront payment of $5,200, and we're allocating 4 holiday accommodation vouchers. So if there's 4 partners in the firm, you can have 3 nights each away, or you might use it for a retreat meeting for some planning, or you could offer it as a staff club prize in a raffle, or donate it to your favorite charity in your area. You can do what you like. You've got 18 months to use the benefit. And then we've got the financial forecasting package. Now, this is everything that's in the advanced package, plus access to Plan Guru software. Plan Guru software I use in my consulting business, and it is the package that Adam Hale, the American accountant we've referred to a few times, he's using, and he checked all of the packages out. He told us it's a 3-way financial forecasting package, which is what the banks want financial forecasts prepared with these days. The net cost after the 20% discount is $7,920, including GST, and you receive 4 holiday accommodation vouchers. Now, within the Plan Guru software component, you will be able to use that software for detailed work for up to 10 clients without having to pay any extra monthly payments. Normally, Plan Gurus sell their packages on the basis that you can access it for 3 clients, and after that you pay a monthly additional fee of $29 per month per client. So we think there's a saving of about 3,000 Australian dollars in that offer that I was able to negotiate with Plan Guru. You also get special training in use of the Plan Guru software that's delivered by Paul Barnaby, who's a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and he's the managing director of Beyond Accounting Technologies, which is the company that will undertake the training in the software program. So we think that's a great Black Friday offer to you. If you want to know more information, please go to our website, and there's the details there, www.essbiztools.com.au. Or you can book a complimentary Zoom meeting with me, 15 minutes. I will listen to some information about your firm, your team, your clients, and I will give you my recommendation of the type of package that ESS BizTools have that can help you. If I don't think we can help you, I will tell you that. So you're welcome to, as I said before, go to our website. And Brad, I've just put there your phone number if people wish to contact you. Do you want to add to that? I'll just put you back on.
Any publicity is good publicity.
Okay, so if people want to talk to you about some of the issues of communication and
Sure.
newsletters, they can give you a ring and you'll be happy to talk to them.
Well, I'd be happy to discuss with them what what their needs are. I mean, they may have needs that go far beyond the e-newsletter concept, or they may have needs that require videos or something else that just could add to their marketing and still be done cost effectively. I think, as we said earlier, the same thing with your packages. And the evolution that's happening in the accounting industry, the worst thing you can do is do nothing.
That's right. That's right. Okay.
So,
well,
they're most welcome to give me a call and have a chat at any time.
okay.
It's no obligation, same as it is with you.
Okay. So, Brad, thank you very much for being with us today. And I'm just going to close down now. So thank you. And we'll catch up later on.
Thanks, Peter. Been great to be here.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll just go back to here, and I think I've just about gone through everything we had. So if you want to know more, we've told you where to go. Or you can also go to our grants website if you're curious about what I said about grants before, www.essbizgrants.com.au. You can actually have a trial for a client. You can have one client, you can put them through. You got 2 weeks to do the work. Won't take you that long. Put them through and just see how it works. You'll get the report, you can send it to your client, and there's a fair chance that you'll get some work out of that, because a lot of the grant subsidy funds things like cash flow forecasts, budgets, business plans, reorganizing clients' businesses. So that's work that the government will be paying half the fee. Clients like that. There's the contact details if you need to contact us. If you want to make one of those Zoom meetings with me, 1-800-232-088 is the preferred number to ring. And I look forward to hearing from you. So thank you very much, everyone, for being with us today. If you're watching this webinar on live feed and you have any questions, you'll have to send me an email, peter@essbiztools.com.au. If you've got a question for Brad, you still with us?
Yes, I am.
What's your email address, mate? Because
BSmart, BSMART, @smartradiogroup.com.au.
So you can send any emails you've got for Brad on communications to that email. If you never got Brad's email, and I forgot to, sorry, Brad, I forgot to put your email address in the slides. Just send the email to me, peter@essbiztools.com.au, and I will send it on to Brad. So thank you very much, everyone. Stay safe. Have a great day. Goodbye. And I look forward to talking to everyone later on. Thanks, Brad. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks, Peter. Talk soon.
Thank you.